All right, guys, so today is pretty exciting. We're heading up to Connecticut. It's about a 2-hour drive. I'm actually heading over to U-Haul. I gotta grab a trailer because we're picking up the Trans Am's new engine. Now, by the end of this video, I'm gonna have a lot of explaining to do because I was kind of initially going one way with it. Now I don't want to say I did a 180, but let's just say it's not getting the Camaro's old 5.3 anymore. Alright guys, so the trailer's all hooked up. Just got this little baby one. Should be plenty. They could just forklift the thing right into there. So from here, it's about a 2-hour drive up to Terryville, Connecticut. Let's go get the Trans Am's new motor. All right guys, we are all strapped down, loaded up. It's about a 3-hour ride back to New York. Let's get this thing unloaded back in the garage. And for anybody who doesn't know what they're looking at, which I have a feeling a lot of you guys do know what you're looking at, I'll explain everything in the garage. All right guys, I'm back at the garage with the Trans Am's new motor. For anybody who doesn't know what they're looking at, this is a Gen 5 L83 out of a 2016 GMC Yukon. This one in particular has around 60,000 miles on it, and I paid $24.50 for it. I got it off of eBay, drove up to Connecticut, picked it up as you guys just saw. Now this motor, obviously it's completely dressed for that $24.50. It came with all the accessories, the starter, the intake, the complete harness, nothing's cut. The PCM, it has the drive-by-wire pedal hanging on the other side. So it's basically a complete pull-out. There was no core charger on it. But yeah, the whole reason I decided to pull the trigger on this was because Holley came out with their Terminator X, engine control system for these motors, I think back in April. And now being Holley has that Terminator X for this motor, their unit actually supports a 4L60 or a 4L80. So I don't have to use the 6L80 that the stock harness and PCM would have controlled. For the transmission, I have an idea of what I want to go with. A lot of you guys aren't going to like it. You probably already know what it is because I said that, but I'm not going to, say anything until I actually have it in my hands. And basically the plan is to get this in the car, running and driving, maybe take it to a few track days, see what it could do in stock form with the 350 horsepower that it has. Then being the Trans Am will be up and running and reliable, the Tahoe is probably going to be getting some attention. So that's kind of the whole reason why I'm pushing this, and I want to get this motor in the car now, because the Trans Am's motor right now, it's leaking oil for the rear main seal. It leaves a pretty big puddle whenever you park it, and I have no intentions of repairing that engine. Just swapping this one in, stock for stock, this 5.3 compared to the 5.7 in that car, this literally makes double the horsepower. It's insane how much farther technology has come when it comes to these motors. But yeah, the fact of the matter is it's not worth my time putting a big cam and modifying, doing all this stuff to that motor, because at the end of the day, it's just gonna explode if I put any kind of turbo on it, unless I do forged internals and all that. And at that point, I'd rather have the newer stuff, the fuel injection, lighter, and yeah, I got a car and an LS in it. We might as well put an LT in the Trans Am. And lastly, if you're wondering why I didn't go for an L86, which is the 6.2 liter of this, or an LT1, which is the 6.2 in a Camaro or a Corvette, because obviously if I'm trying to make a sleeper, putting an LT1 in it would be pretty freaking badass. And the reason for that, plain and simple, is cost. This thing cost me $24.50. People want anywhere between $5,000 all the way up to $10,000, I was seeing them, for an LT1. The same thing goes for the L86. They're on the low ends. Maybe you can get them for $4,500 if they have a lot of miles on them. The higher end is pretty much over $5,000. And being we are gonna be throwing boost at this, it didn't make sense for me to pay that extra money, because at the end of the day, between this motor and an LT1, they are the same as far as strength goes. Rods, pistons, they're no stronger in a 6.2 than they are in this thing. And with that extra savings of about $2,500, I could throw a set of forged rods and pistons in this thing for like $1,500, $1,600 and still have money left over. I'm looking forward to having like a stock, untouched, you know, newer motor in one of these cars. I'm so used to the Camaro with the big cam and all the power I gave it. It's gonna be nice just to see, you know, the economy is gonna get, the performance we could get out of it. And then when we're done with that, we'll just throw a bunch of boost down his throat.